Star Furniture, different by design.
Dynamo, Real Salt Lake, tonight on KHOU 11.2. KHOU 11 News starts now.
In the news this morning, an intense fire consumes an old commercial building in downtown Houston. The lengths the fire department went to keep firefighters cool. Until now, Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords has been kept mostly in the dark about the extent of the Tucson shooting tragedy, what she's finally aware of this morning. And later, can Governor Rick Perry continue to perform his duties in Texas while campaigning for president? How his office is responding to critics. Good morning and thanks for joining us on KHOU 11 News Saturday morning. I'm Jeremy Diesel. Let's begin with a first look at our weekend weather with meteorologist Mario Gomez. Repeat of last week.
Oh gosh,
hot,
yes.
Right?
You know, we're going from week to week, it seems like, and we're ending the week just like we started at 100 degrees or better here in Houston. The heat advisory continues yet again. Very repetitive forecast. You've seen it before. Here's what it looks like out there right now. Kind of steamy, kind of still. 82 degrees right now in the Galleria. Winds are calm, dead calm around Houston right now. Need a little wind to make it feel a little bit better. 30 days so far of 100-degree temperatures and counting. The record is 32 by the end of the weekend. We may tie that record. You can see for the afternoon today, we're going to be close to the records, 103 degrees. Again, we're going to remind everybody this is the kind of heat that can kill. A lot of folks have been getting out there in the middle of the afternoon and just making sure that you have plenty of water available if you are, and stay dry and very cool outside, at least for the afternoon. It looks like today we're not going to see too many showers, maybe a couple of pop-up showers. The evening is best. Late night temperatures will be in the upper 80s to near 90. We're going to see your forecast in just a moment, but I think by now you probably know what we're going to show you. Another
staring
round.
at that 103 is enough for me.
Yeah, it is mesmerizing. Yep.
Mario, thank you very much. Well, new this morning, a man is dead after being shot in his home in front of his grandchildren. This happened just after midnight at a home on Anderson and Buxley in southwest Houston. Investigators say a man and his wife were watching their 3 grandchildren when a suspect came barging into their mobile home. The suspect immediately opened fire and shot the victim several times. He died at the scene. Investigators believe they know who the shooter is.
We believe the motive is going to be jealousy. It's possible that one of the daughters, ex-boyfriends, is responsible for this. Jealousy at the ending of a relationship, and the suspicion of ex-lover becoming attached to another man.
Now, the victim's wife was also shot, but she is expected to survive. None of the children were hurt. Police are still looking for the suspect. Also new this morning, an old commercial building in downtown Houston will likely have to be torn down after a massive fire. Take a look at the blaze. It started just before 11 o'clock last night in a vacant building on Main Street at Cleburne. The flames were so intense that firefighters had to pull a second alarm and eventually go into defensive mode. It took more than 85 firefighters to get the fire under control. Because of the heat, a Metro bus was brought in so that firefighters could take turns cooling off. No one was hurt, and no word yet on what may have caused the fire. Another firefighter is recovering this morning after getting a jolt. We brought you this story as breaking news last night at 10. The firefighter was one of many who responded to a fire in a mechanic shop on Lauder at Trail Quest in northeast Harris County. The fire started in a wall that had a lot of wiring and equipment, and that's where the firefighter was hurt.
We did have a firefighter that was injured on the scene from electric shock. He was treated here and released, non-life-threatening, very minor injuries.
Now, the fire marshal's office believes this started as an electrical fire. None of the cars in that shop were burned. New this morning, we're learning that Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords is finally aware exactly what happened the day that she was shot in the head. Giffords was at a public event in Tucson in January when a gunman opened fire, killing 6 people and wounding 13 others, including Giffords. She's still undergoing rehab in Houston from her brain injury. Her loved ones had been keeping the exact extent of the tragedy from her until she was strong enough to handle it. In June, she was told how many people were killed, but late last month, she was finally given their names. We're hearing from the father and son who were held at gunpoint in their own home by 3 robbers, and the victims are telling us there was some very unlikely conversations happening between them and the suspects. Here's KHOU 11 News reporter Tiffany Craig.
Actually, they took my son, captive for an hour. They kidnapped him for an hour inside that house.
The day after being terrorized in their own home, James Rooney and his son are talking about it.
I was just shocked so bad, I couldn't even think.
When James III got home alone Thursday night, 3 masked men barged in the door behind him. At least one seemed to know the layout of the house, and after realizing the 17-year-old didn't have the safe combination, they kept a gun to the teen's head for an hour.
When I walked through the door, they had one guy had a gun pointed at me, and then the other guy stepped out with my son with a gun to his head.
Rooney says the men forced him to open the safe and then made his own son tie him up.
What did you have to tie him up with?
Cable cords, just cords that you just you hook up to the computer and hook up to the router, those kind of cords.
The men were grabbing jewelry, guns, electronics, and even took off with the son's limited edition Ford Fuso Mustang that looks similar to this picture.
And then he just started talking with me. And then he started, well, Mr. Rooney, you make all kinds of money. You'll get this money back in a couple of days. Don't even worry about it. And plus, you got insurance, I'm sure. I guess trying to reassure himself. He was like he was some kind of Robin Hood, and it was all right to do what he was doing.
As if they didn't do enough damage. Before leaving, the suspects were talking about family values.
Yeah, you shouldn't, leave your 17-year-old son alone in the house, which is just, I was like, okay, whatever, guy. I'm going to take parenting advice from a thug.
And those thugs, as the homeowner calls them, were actually caught leaving out the front door on surveillance. They have security cameras here, and they're hoping that video will help police solve this case. Reporting from the Memorial area, Tiffany Craig, KHOU 11 News.
Well, turning now to the mandatory water restrictions in Houston. Today is Saturday, which means homes with odd-numbered addresses are allowed to water their lawns. You're allowed to water between midnight and 10 o'clock this morning, and then again from 8 o'clock tonight until midnight. Homes with even-numbered addresses can water during those same times tomorrow. Well, for all you shoppers looking for a bargain, you have 2 more days to take advantage of tax-free weekend. The annual event started as a way for parents to save money on back-to-school shopping. Things like school supplies, clothes, and backpacks, they're all tax-free. And you can even save when it comes to items that are not tax-free because retailers are offering big sales. But we found one shopper at Memorial City Mall who says it's important to keep things in check so you don't defeat the purpose of saving.
Don't go hog wild. I mean, seriously, there's so much stimulation coming at you that it's really easy to overspend. So you just have to be careful and you have to be selective.
To see the complete list of items that are tax-free and the types of items that are not, you just head to our website, khou.com. Well, now's your chance to bring home a new furry friend for free. The Houston SPCA is hosting the Cool Cat Stravaganza today. And because it's Cat Stravaganza, all cat adoptions are free. Usually, those adoptions cost $45. All SPCA cats come spayed or neutered and with a free microchip. The Cat Stravaganza goes through the end of August. The time is 7:08. As Governor Rick Perry continues his presidential campaign, some are wondering if he can keep up with his duties as governor. We'll take a look at the juggling act between the job he has and the job he wants. More fallout from a deadly stage collapse as another victim passes away. The first lawsuits are filed. Plus this. That is not a sight you see every day. What had these nuns doing the wave?
And you may want to head to the waves, the beach waves, that is, later today. When you see our forecast, the heat advisory, unfortunately, continues yet for another day. This could be extended through the weekend. We'll have more coming up.
This portion of the news is brought to you by West Point Lincoln Mercury.
For the first time.
He's okay.
Well, these kids managed to stay cool in West Houston thanks to a big water main break on Kellywood. We're told this has been leaking since Sunday, and it got a lot worse yesterday. Many homes in that area have low water pressure or no water at all. Still, these kids found a way to put that water to good use.
My mom had the idea since we had the water rationing, so we just thought we'd get buckets of water and do it.
At first we were watering the yards, then we washed a car. Now we're just playing in the water. I take the water and I put all in my face.
It's what you should do, I think, out there when it's so hot. Residents on the block say crews were planning to work on that leak overnight, and hopefully that'll get all fixed up and the water pressure will come back soon. Can you imagine going no water when it's so hot outside?
Yeah, and the kids are saying, just stay away for another day. We're going to have some more fun today. Well, here in Houston today, you can see the blazing sun outside already around town. It is a very warm afternoon. Temperatures are starting to shoot up just beyond 80 degrees in many locations already. Here's what it looks like down on Galveston Island. We're noticing it's a very hot day down there. 93 degrees is what it feels like already. Our camera high atop the San Luis Resort, looking down on Seawall Boulevard, live view. Light southwesterly winds now. It is very warm already with numbers just beyond 80 degrees at our big airport now. And at forecast coming up a little bit later on during this half hour.
I could really enjoy a 9 somewhere.
Yeah, 90 would be good, 95, even 98.
Exactly. Thank you, Marty.
We hope.
Well, Wall Street will try to find its footing on Monday after a 4-week losing streak. Investors continue worrying about a potential global recession and the health of the European banking system. Yesterday, the Dow fell nearly 173 points, while the Nasdaq slid 39. The main event next week will come on Friday when Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke gives a speech at the Fed's annual retreat in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It was a year ago in Jackson Hole that Bernanke hinted that the central bank would begin buying $600 billion in treasuries to stimulate the economy. That buying ended on June 30th. Now investors want to know if the Feds will act again. Now for a look at the campaign trail 2012. Governor Rick Perry is continuing his swing through South Carolina. He'll attend a meet and greet breakfast in Greenville, South Carolina today. In the months ahead, Governor Perry will be spending a lot of time campaigning out of state, and that has some Texans wondering whether he'll be able to balance the duties of the job he has while he campaigns for the job he wants. His spokesperson says it shouldn't be a problem, especially since he has little to do officially outside of legislative sessions. Perry's spokesperson said he keeps up on state business while away, and when he's gone, Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst takes over. Well, the Obama administration is trying to make it clear that even though the president is on vacation during these shaky economic times, he's still staying on top of things. The White House released this picture of the president getting a briefing from top counterterrorism advisor John Brennan, who traveled with the president to Martha's Vineyard. Meanwhile, the president surprised dozens of locals there by showing up at a bookstore. Even those who might not agree with his politics say they were starstruck by his appearance.
I can't believe it. We heard that he was in town, but we were like, we'll never see him. And then I knew it would pay off to read.
They're so neat to see. You're jazzed up about it, I can see. I really am.
The president is scheduled to return on August 27th to Washington, D.C. That's a little more than a week before Congress returns from its August recess. Well, this morning we're learning that a 6th person has died after that devastating stage collapse at the Indiana State Fair. The stage was brought down by a strong gust of wind 1 week ago today. The latest death comes as the first lawsuits in connection with that incident are filed. An attorney who's representing 2 victims, one who died and another who was injured, says that there is plenty of blame to go around.
Immediately when they knew of a severe thunderstorm headed in that direction, the event should have been canceled. It's really a no-brainer.
An investigation into the collapse is underway. Legal experts say several entities aside from the state fair, like promoters and organizers, might also become targets of those lawsuits. Now to a story that has a lot of people shaking their heads in disbelief. A Florida woman is defending herself after riding in the back of a pickup truck with a baby in a stroller. It might be hard to believe, but the woman tells reporter Eric Von Enken that she didn't do anything wrong.
Daytona Beach police officers call this in their report a highly dangerous situation. Rode in the pickup bed for at least several blocks through some of the city.
What not gonna happen to this baby? I'm holding on to him.
That was Eric Von Enken reporting. Police say that baby is okay, but Davis has been ordered to stay away from him while she is out on bond. Now for a look at some stories making news around the world. North Korean leader Kim Jong-il is making his first public visit to Russia in nearly a decade. Kim will meet with President Dmitry Medvedev during his visit. This is the latest sign that the North Korean leader is trying to reach out to his regional neighbors for money. North Korea has been desperate for economic aid after suffering from devastating floods and economic sanctions led by the United States because of its nuclear program. The deadly crackdown in Syria appears to be continuing despite assurances by Syria's president that his military and police operations against protesters had stopped. Activists say security forces opened fire on thousands of protesters yesterday, killing at least 34 people. That latest bloodshed came a day after President Obama and European allies demanded that President Bashar Assad step down. Well, dramatic rescue caught on tape in China after a man is trapped up to his chest in mud. The man had wandered out into the muddy field to collect rubbish to recycle when he started sinking. That rescue team had trouble getting to the man because they were in danger of sinking as well. But after being stuck for 8 hours, that man was eventually pulled to safety. Well, Pope Benedict XVI will continue his trip through Spain today, and his visit has brought out a rarely seen festive side in some Catholic nuns. The cameras were rolling yesterday as several hundred nuns did the wave during the Pope's visit to Madrid for the World Youth Festival. Well, the time is 7:21. Up next, a look at the events happening around town that the whole family can enjoy this weekend. Whether you're in the mood for magic, music, or going out to dinner for a good cause, we've got you covered.
Mac Haik is celebrating Chevy's